Hey viewers, I hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, I will be going over my previous Canadian short-term study visa when I applied back in year 2020, and I would be highlighting what's basically short-term study visa, or in other words, that's called SX1 visa, that's been given for a study when your duration of the studies is either 6 months or less than 6 months. Like if you are going for a specialized training, or it is a kind of short course, so then you have to basically apply for a short-term visa. And how was my experience, and what were the issues that went to rejection of my visa application? And basically I would be covering SX1 visa and its requirement and the reasons due to that it was denied, and for the next time when I applied, how I was able to cover my previous rejection, and how you can do that before in your first try, even going for the rejection. So let me first explain what is basically a short-term study visa. So there are some Canadian colleges that offer some short courses for which you can get an admission. Basically, like it can be a language related, it can be any specific skill related, or it can be a certification in different fields like engineering, business, accounting, or any relevant one. So basically, you go for a short term of duration of studies, and when you complete that, either you convert yours that short term to further study permit or work permit, or you come back to your home country. So let me go back to my course. Basically, when I was applying for the first time, to be honest, I that was my first application, and I was not that experienced with the system, so I just went with a random short term course because me and my friend, to be honest, we were quite desperate of applying for the Canadian visa, and we just selected one of the language relevant course. And when we were applying, so basically we made, I would say, not a single mistake. We made, I would say, a bunch of mistake. I would say a dozen of mistake in that application. So let me go to those mistakes. I would say what we have done step by step. Like the first mistake which we have done was not working on the cover letter or the motivation letter, or I would say the visa purpose letter. That was the first mistake which we did, because we were not even focusing, because at that time we were already in Belgium, we already had a couple of countries visa, we had a travel history. So we thought that would not be sufficient. But after going through the visa process and experience, I can say that the motivation letter or the cover letter or the purpose letter, that's the most important document, because if you are able to convince the visa officer to that motivation letter or the purpose letter or the cover letter, that can basically support your application on overall. So we made the first mistake we made was over there. Second, we went with quite simple, I would say, documents. Like in my case, I did finish one of the degree there, and I was doing my second degree. So that was a kind of mistake I should have avoided, and I should have went for the professional background I had it instead of showing the studies. And that was a kind of mistake, because then in my case, when I got the GCMS notes, so in that it was clearly written that the candidate is staying in a third country and he has already finished his studies, while he has not left uh, Belgium. And like he said that he believed that he will not leave Canada at the end of his studies. So that was the second mistake. The other document, they were not that even looked over, because the first two were sufficient for the visa officer to deny my application. And in that, basically I had about 3 months bank statement, like the fund were more than enough for that. Beside that, we had already paid for the short-term course because the fee was around about 2000 Canadian dollar. We had some booking made for through booking.com. We had a dummy flight, or I would say the reservation, we had done that. The other documents were quite basic, like covering our profile. Like I attached the property certificates or the assets I had it, and beside that, my professional experiences. So for the same course, I had submitted one of my friend application, but that was later on, like after my application about a week ago, like after a week. So basically, his application was accepted and his visa was approved. But what were the strong points? I would like to highlight those. Like, we were able to communicate, or I would say convince the visa officer on the motivation letter, because on his application, when I was submitting, I realized my mistake, which I have done it, and I worked on his motivation letter more, I would say, and I tried to link the purpose, like the course, then his background. Like, he was basically from quite, I would say, low family background, so I was able to link that he needed this course to basically get into the further studies, and he was in the same course, like he was studying in the second year. So I highlighted that as his degree is about to get finished, so he would complete the course and come back, complete the course in Canada, and then come back to get his degree, because his final thesis is still left. So that was a strong point I was able to connect. And when it come to the other stuff, like if I talk about, like, sometime you guys are confused that how much should be the bank statement. So basically, when it come to his bank statement, that was quite basic. Like, we deposited some of the cash amount, I think, a week ago, and that was, I think, not even the basic. And the rest document were like booking.com reservation for a month, and like the basic booking, like ticket reservation, and the other document stayed quite simple. But the main thing which was different from my application when we were submitting, that was the motivation letter, because I was able to work on that more, and we were trying to link each and everything, like his course, why he's going for the course, what is the basic requirement, and why he's not doing in Belgium, because Belgium was a Dutch and French and German native country. So basically, we highlighted the point that he is going for an English speaking country, and Canada is among the top, I would say, uh, like they have the best schools, and over there he will be able to communicate like English quite easily, and he would be studying at the same time. So we highlighted that, and we tried to match with the course fee and other stuff, like from different countries. So that was a kind of main point we tried to cover, and I believe that was the reason his application got accepted. So when it come to my application, like after that, I did work on few stuff, and I was able to apply this year, and my visa was accepted quite easily, I would say, because I knew, because at that time when I was applying, I had a quite extensive history. I was working, I had a professional background, I was in UK at that time. I had a valid US visa for a year. I never traveled there. Beside that, I had a travel history of more than like 20 countries, and about like 10 sticker visa on my file. And I did left Belgium, I did left Sweden, and I did left like I was into the other countries like Ireland, Turkey, and other European countries. So that was a kind of extensive one. So they were the main points. But beside that, when it come to my course, when I applied for a short-term visa, even though I got a visa, but to be honest, I'm not traveling because I already had other plan, and I'm already doing a permanent job uh, quite well. So that was way long ago when I applied. And at this moment I'm not planning, but in the future might be, but I'm not sure like what's going to be that. But these were the points I did covered in my application. Like, so some of the suggestion I would like to highlight to you guys, like how you can get a short-term study visa. So basically try to look for the DLI courses, and try to look for the DLI that's been on the DLI list. Don't go for, even if it's private or public, it doesn't matter. Second thing is try to go for the relevant course that matches your professional and I would say educational background. Don't go for a random course, because that's going to be difficult for you to defend in your motivation letter. And the third thing is, when it comes to the financial requirements, so for short term, because it's 6 months, so you are able to justify, and 3 month bank statement is more than enough for them. And the thing is, don't put that much money into the bank statement, because you have to defend the money in your bank statement as well, like from where you got it. Either you get it from family, you have been working, or what's the source of that. The fourth and most important thing is work on your cover motivation letter or the purpose letter as much as you can, because that's gonna bring the visa to exception. And when there are like thousands of applications, so if your cover letter is stronger, the visa officer would be more convinced, and he would I would say ignore the basic point that might lead to your rejection of application, and definitely you will be accepted for the Canadian temporary residence visa. So these are the points I wanted to highlight. I hope I was able to cover my story and how you can follow these steps to get a Canadian short-term visa or SX1 visa or short-term study visa by yourself. Don't go to those consultants who charge you or ask for advance payment. Always try to do a little bit research, I would suggest, and that's gonna bring you more success, I would say. So keep I would say, like, the next video I would try to make is how you can apply for your temporary residence visa and what are the documents you will need for yourself when you are applying for visit visa, or I would say when you are being invited by somebody to visit the Canada. So thank you guys for watching my video, and do subscribe and share my videos, so you can get the latest video highlight. And I would be trying to make more videos so you guys can get benefit from that. Thank you so much, and have a great day.